I'm 82 years old, and I learned this too late about the people I loved. I'm saying that plainly because there isn't much time left for me to dress it up. Most of my friends are gone. My hands shake when I hold a cup. My mornings begin with pills and end with silence. And the hardest part isn't the body, it's what you finally understand when the noise stops. I'm not making this to sound wise. I don't feel wise. I feel late. That's the honest word. I'm sitting at a small table by the window in my apartment. It's tidy because there isn't much to mess up anymore. The light comes in around 4 in the afternoon and makes the dust visible. I used to hate dust. Now I watch it float, and I think about how much of my life passed that quietly. There's a photo on the wall across from me. It's my wife Marion, standing in our kitchen about 30 years ago. She's laughing, caught mid-laugh, holding a dish towel like she's about to swat someone. I took that photo without thinking. I didn't realize I was taking something I'd need later. People talk about love like it's a feeling you carry around in your chest, like it just sits there and stays warm if you're lucky. But that isn't what I learned. Love doesn't stay warm on its own. It cools if you stop tending it. Not because you don't care, but because you assume it will wait. I assumed a lot of things would wait. I assumed the people I loved would always be there in the same way. I assumed that if I cared in my head, it would somehow reach them. I assumed that providing was the same as being present. And I didn't realize I was trading the best parts of my life away in small, reasonable-looking pieces. At 82, you don't get to bargain with time anymore. You don't get to say, I'll make it up later. There is no later that belongs to you. That's the kind of thought that comes to you in the middle of the night when you can't sleep and the apartment is too quiet. Sometimes I sit here and I try to remember the last thing my mother said to me. Not the last conversation, the last sentence. I can't always pull it up. It feels like reaching into a drawer that used to be full and finding it empty. And that scares me more than dying, because it means I was there for the end, technically, but not in the way that mattered. I grew up in a house where men didn't talk much. My father worked at the rail yard. He came home tired, ate, and went quiet. My mother kept everything running. When I was young, I thought love meant duty. You worked. You showed up. You didn't leave. You didn't embarrass the family. Feelings were considered messy, so I carried that into my own life without questioning it. I married Marion when I was 26. We didn't have much money. We rented a small place with thin walls and a couch that smelled like someone else's cigarettes. We were tired and happy. When our first child was born, I started taking overtime. At first because we needed it, then because it became normal. Marion stayed home, and I told myself my job was to keep the roof over us. I didn't notice she was becoming lonely while standing right next to me. I came home late, kissed her forehead, dropped my lunch pail by the door, and sat in my chair. The kids would bring me drawings. I'd smile, say that's nice, and set them aside. Marion would talk, and I'd listen just enough to answer. I didn't see that I was becoming a stranger inside my own house. I thought my presence was automatic. I thought love didn't need attention to survive. There were small moments, my daughter's school play that I missed because I stayed late at work. My son asking me to throw a baseball, and me saying later. Marion asking me to sit with her on the porch, and me saying after this. My mother calling, and me letting it ring. None of these were disasters. That's why they were dangerous. They were ordinary, they were defensible, and they added up to something I couldn't undo. When Marion got sick, I finally slowed down. I showed up to appointments, I held her hand, I told myself I was doing it right now. But love isn't just how you behave during a crisis. Love is how you live when nothing is wrong. One night she asked me if we had done life right. Then she said, very quietly, I wish you had been home more. Not angry, just sad. I had no words that could fix that. After she died, the house was too quiet. The kitchen clock sounded like it was pounding. My children came by, and I realized something painful. We cared about each other, but we didn't know each other. We talked about safe things. We avoided the deeper ones. I didn't know their fears. They didn't know mine. And I had helped build that distance. When my mother was dying, she said something I can't forget. She said, I used to wait for you. I pictured her by the window, making soup, listening for a car that didn't come. I wanted to explain myself, but explanations don't give time back. She died a few months later, and I understood then that intentions don't matter nearly as much as presence. The lesson I learned too late is simple and heavy. Love is not what you feel, it's what you do with your time. It's choosing the call over the extra task. It's sitting down when someone wants to talk. It's noticing. Time is what makes love real. I didn't fully understand that until my son called years later to tell me his wife was dying. That night, I didn't wait. I drove straight over. I didn't know what to say, so I said the truth. I don't know how to be good at this, but I'm here. And I stayed. And I realized something painful and freeing. Being there wasn't hard. I had just told myself it was. Now I'm 82. I'm not abandoned, but I am lonely in a way that comes from my own life. I have relationships, but there are gaps that will never close. There are conversations that pass their moment. There are years I can't revisit. I dream about ordinary evenings. In the dreams I always say yes. Then I wake up. If you're listening and you still have your people, I won't tell you what to do. I'll just tell you what I wish I had known. Don't assume your love is understood. Don't assume there will be more time. Don't confuse being busy with being needed. You can't circle back to a childhood. You can't circle back to waiting. I have a few years left if I'm lucky. I spend them calling people when I think of them, saying I love you, even when it feels awkward, listening more than I talk. It doesn't erase the past, but it's what I can do now. Now is all anyone ever has. That's what I learned too late about the people I loved. I loved them, but I didn't always live like it, and I would give anything for one ordinary evening back. Just one. But life doesn't give refunds. So I sit here and tell the truth because it's all I have left to offer. And when I'm done speaking, the room will be quiet again.